Hey everyone, it's Kelly from Silly Moon Quilting Co. And today on this beautiful summer day, I want to introduce you to Kite. Nothing says summer much more than a kite. So we have created a ruler here that will help you do the kite, the tail, and the little ribbons, I guess, on the end of the tail all in one ruler. Of course, like all our rulers, the ruler, we can do a whole bunch more than just what it says. So in this case, it says kite, but there's so many more things we can do with it. But today I'm just going to do a really quick video just to show you how to create the perfect kite on your summer quilts or your baby quilts or any place else you just feel like putting a kite. So with rulers, or with the rulers that have the little gap here, if you're new to our rulers, if you have a long arm, this is what your foot's going to look like. You're just going to lift that ruler and you're going to slide it over that shank and then come back down. If you're quilting on a domestic machine, it's a little bit different. And we want to, for example, we're going to drop our needle here. I'm going to do just a couple locking stitches. And that's going to drop my needle there. I'm going to lift my ruler foot and I'm going to slide that ruler underneath that ruler foot through that little slot with my needle down. If you don't have your needle down, it's totally fine. You can do it a different way. You can just slide the whole thing under and that works perfect as well. You'll notice I'm using these horrible black nitrile gloves if you've watched any of my recent videos, but I find that it doesn't mess with the light as much, so it makes things a little bit easier for you to be able to see. So once I've done that, I'm going to move far enough away from that ruler. I'm going to bring down my ruler foot, and then I'm going to choose what direction I want to work with my kite. So in this case, I'm going to want to start at the top here, because I want my tail to come down here and I want to make sure I have enough room. So we're going to come down to the bottom here. I'm going to put my ruler down where I choose it to be. I'm going to do a couple locking stitches just to make sure my thread's locked. If you're working on an actual quilt, you want to make sure that you bring your thread up so that it's not ending up with a nest on the back. When you've got your ruler foot in this little recessed area here, you want to make sure that you're not pulling it or pushing it too tight. It should just fit in there just perfectly, just like that. If you push it too hard, it will start to move the thing apart, and that will change your angle of your ruler, which will make a bigger difference later on. Not such a big difference for kite, but it will when you start getting into the other designs of kite. So you can see, you know, I'm just turning this so that you can see it. I'll do it sideways, makes it a little bit easier for you to see. So I've got my ruler foot there nested nicely. If I chose that I wanted to have this ruler in line or perfectly centered, say in a border, I've got a center line there on kite to make sure that I'm lined up nice and square. I've also got registration lines at the bottom here that will help me measure the other direction or make sure I'm square the other way. I've got my sticky tape on here. You can see I've got 4 pieces on there. I find that's adequate. If you find that the ruler is moving underneath your hand, go ahead and add a little bit more sticky tape, but please remember not to use your fabric scissors when you're cutting it. So I'm going to hold on to kite rather. I've done my stitches. I'm just simply going to go up one side, keeping a nice consistent pace. And stopping if you need to move your hands. And I will end up back in the spot where I started. So now what I want to do is I want to lift up my ruler foot. I'm going to slide that ruler out, and now this edge of kite, the wavy edge, is going to create our tail. I'm going to turn that just a bit so you can see. So I'm hooking my ruler foot in that little notch there. Of course, that's like a bunch of our other rulers that have that same sort of notch. And then I'm going to come down that edge. And I'm going to stop when I get to the bottom. Now I tend to do this in one swoop, so I'll go a couple stitches back up to where I feel that I want the little tails of the kite. I'm going to lift my ruler foot again. I'm going to rotate kite. Now I'm going to use this little notch in there, and I'm going to drop my ruler foot And then I'm going to bring my ruler back to where that ruler foot is locked in that little notch. And then I'm just going to follow that perimeter around. And that's going to take me back to my tail. I'm going to then rotate. You don't need to lift your ruler foot for this. You're just going to rotate it to the other side. And follow it around again. And back to the same spot. Now I decided that I wanted to do a couple extra, so I'm going to very carefully just follow my stitch length and just shift my ruler. I'm just doing a couple stitches at a time. If you're more comfortable, you can absolutely take your ruler, lift your ruler foot up and take the ruler out at this point. And then I'm going to do another one here. Back to that point, and then I'm going to rotate it again. And I'm going to do another one on the other side. Back to my center. And then lock my stitches and break my thread. Now, there's your kite. And if you decided, say for example, that you wanted the ribs of the kite to show, you could certainly do that. And you don't even need to switch rulers. You can just use your straight edge here. So I can go back to the top of my kite and I can do a couple locking stitches there. And I can use the edge of my ruler. Now keeping in mind I need to at this end stay a 1/4 inch away from where I want to, and if you're not sure what that 1/4 inch looks like, I can suggest getting one of these little guys, our dude, and that little 1/4 inch arm will tell me exactly where my ruler needs to be so that I end up in the right spot. And then I'm going to stitch a straight line that way. And you can break your thread if you want, or I'm going to cheat a bit. And I'm just going to go back up again. And because you're using a ruler, as long as you don't move anything, it'll stay nice and square. Then I'm going to turn this the other direction. And I want to now line up here. So I need to have this ruler a 1/4 inch away from there. So I didn't quite go far enough, so I'm just going to do a couple more stitches. And again, if I need to, I can pull out dude to see if I'm a 1/4 inch, and I seem to be about right there. I can use this center line here to make sure that I'm square this way, and then I can go and stitch one direction to that point, and then back the other way. And you can break your thread if you want to not have that double stitch, but I don't mind that at all. And I'll just lock my stitches, and there you go. So that's how easy it is to make the perfect kite using our brand new kite ruler. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them, or you can fire us off an email and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Thank you for your support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps us out. Thanks so much and have a great day, everyone.